Welcome home. I'm Ryan,
I'm Elie.
and today we're going to be talking about a couple different things, mainly about what our plan is for the future, what we hope to see and do, and our, I guess, hopes and dreams, our aspirations. So I don't know how long this is going to be, but we're going to jump right into it. I got to do a stopwatch here. But yeah, today I have a horchata and Elie has...
I have an Olipop. We just got these at Costco.
And
they're actually really good.
They are pretty good. It's just like a...
They're good for you too. They're good for your digestive health. But I have the strawberry vanilla one.
Yeah, it's like a pop basically, but different. And horchata for you guys is you can explain it.
It's rice water.
I thought there was going to be more to explain, but yeah,
really
that's
just a rice water.
That's it. Yeah, so today I'm trying to figure out, I should have wrote it down like you said, but I guess we can just start with the biggest question possible. Do we want kids, or are we going to have kids?
We should have had a Q&A from the few people that would have responded.
Yeah. So the answer to that for me is yes, we do want. I would like to have kids, but not right now. We don't have the capability of raising children because our house is a complete mess and we are constantly working on it and doing stuff, and we don't have proper jobs, so we don't have a good steady stream of income. And that's kind of one of the things that you need when you have kids is money, because they are expensive. And not even just them, but like just the process of having kids.
Yeah. In America.
Yes. And for me, I would say once one of us gets a steady income, where, if that's Ellie's teaching or if it's me and YouTube and whatever, then I would say that we would be ready. But I also would like to have some time to hang out and do things with my wife without kids. Although, yes, I can still do those things with kids. I just would like to do it without kids first. That is my thing. But you can take your turn.
I want children too. I think I am more, what's the word? I guess eager to have kids more than Ryan is. Like, if it happened now, I would probably be more happy than Ryan would be. 'Cause I've had baby fever forever. So I always want babies. But I think that we might be able to do it, but we would rather wait because we are not able to give our children the lifestyle we would want them to have, or the life that we would want them
that's
to
like
grow
the
up.
perfect way to put it.
Because we could have kids and we would have a happy, healthy home.
And obviously, if we were to have a child, things would have to change. I probably would have to give up all of this and go straight back to a so-called regular job, working as much as possible, learning as much as possible, because pregnancy and raising children is something that you definitely need to know how to do and how to deal with, and what is all included in all of that, if that makes sense. But yeah, I used to think I would like to have 4, but honestly, I think 1 or 2 is fine by me. Which is tough because obviously for my kids, it doesn't really matter, what gender they are, if anything happens after that. But I would like to have a boy and a girl, and I can't say the names because of reasons, but I would just like to have this kid, and then I'm like, well, I also want to use all these other names. And you could technically name your kid like 14 different names, but I want 14 individual people to call that name, I don't know.
I want 4 kids at least, because I want my kids to have more than one sibling. And I also want to have an even number of kids, because as a kid who grew up in a household with an odd number of kids, I was always the one left out.
Kid growing up with an even number of kids in the household.
But that was different. That wasn't like all...
Technically, I mean, sometimes it was 4, sometimes it was 3, and then it went to 2. But in general, I don't know. I
was always the sibling who rode the roller coasters by herself or with a stranger, because my 2 siblings rode together. So I want all of my kids to be paired up. And there's a lot of situations, family vacations.
But 4 kids is a lot of kids to deal with, and
4 is my minimum
to work with. Because that's 4 sets of like clothes.
I love kids though.
4 sets of, that's like 4 bedrooms. We would need like a 6-bedroom house.
If they have their own room. I grew up sharing a room with my sister for the longest
time. I did share a room with my sister, with Mackenzie for a while. But I can remember once she moved out of my room, I had the room to myself, and it was awesome. But like this is a 3-bedroom house. One is the office/studio that we're in. One's our bedroom. And then the other right now is just a storage room. And I can't imagine having more than one kid and dealing with basically one room that they can be in.
I think we can have 2 kids in this house.
Well, we can talk about it in a little bit, but if your plan on like having a kid a year or 2 apart from each other, then we can only be in this house for like 4 years.
Well, that we'll see. I'm flexible on the age differences.
Oh, yeah.
I am.
So, and I mean, if we did have more kids in this house, I wouldn't want to, but I would give up this room, obviously, because they need a place to sleep and have and their quote unquote own area. If they share it with a sibling, then it's their area. But this studio can be something else. It could be a little shed out in the back, or I can make it in the shop or something. Things can change, but yeah, it's just, in order to have that many kids, especially in a small amount of time, you need a huge house. And then with a huge house comes with even more bills, cleaning more laundry, more electricity, more heat and AC. It's just insane.
Yeah, but think about all the love and happiness that comes with kids.
Yes. And that is one of the biggest reasons why we would have to be financially stable in order to afford all these kids, because it's really expensive to have multiple people live in the same house. And I touched on it earlier, but for me, I don't really mind if my kids are like 2, 3, 4 years apart. Obviously, if you have 4 kids and they're each 4 years apart from each other, then that's,
I don't want to be pregnant for over 16 years.
That's the youngest is 16 years younger than the oldest, and it's kind of crazy. I mean, like, my oldest brother could be, from his age, he could be my dad. He's 40 something, 40. I can't remember.
He'd be a really young dad, but he could be his dad.
I could actually look that up right now. Oops.
The problem is, I also want to be a young mom, not super young, not teen mom.
My brother's 45.
He's 45.
Yeah.
And you're 23, almost 24.
Yeah. So
21 years old, the age that I am.
And I mean, my family is a kind of, I wouldn't say messed up, but
it's blended.
Yeah, it's a pretty big family, but different different parents. But you were saying what before I interrupted?
The problem is I want to be a young mom.
Oh,
I'm
that's
not
right.
getting any younger. I'm only 21, but
and evidently, if she wants a bunch of these kids, and
I don't want to be 35, 40, still popping out kids.
you won't be 40 popping out kids. I could tell you that. I would say.
I don't want to be 35 popping out kids.
I'm gonna look it up real quick too, but my mom was 38 when she had me, around 38.
And that was her choice.
And I think I did the calculation wrong.
My mom was in her late 20s.
Yeah, 38-ish.
When she had me.
So, I mean, and that's another thing too, is if you are older and have kids and then your kids want to have kids, you may not be around for that.
Exactly. And I want to be here for my great grandkids.
But that's you would have had to start when you're like
when I got my first period.
Yeah. But kids, I'm just not ready for it. I think I'm just not ready for it emotionally, internally ready. I don't know. I don't really want to take care of we have two pets, and they are a lot of work.
Our dog is a lot of work.
Yeah.
They both are, but
I mean, literally, the other night, our cat got trapped in Ellie's closet in here. And overnight. And, of course, overnight, he's probably scared. He's probably meowing a bunch. We can't hear. And he peed because, can't hold it forever. And then he got some clothes. What's the word? He basically got some pee on some shirts, and so I had to go through and soak them and wash them. Oh, that was a huge job. But not even that, but like food and just taking care of them, going to the vet. Just it's expensive and it's a lot of work. And the fact that, kids would just be even more work, and then kids around pets, and oh my God. But that being said, eventually I would like to have kids.
We do
but
both want kids.
I would be okay with waiting.
So for people asking when I'm going to have kids, people have been asking that a lot lately because my sister is pregnant and she's younger than me. So they just keep saying, like, when are you going to have kids? For people asking, don't ask until I have my full-time job.
Yeah, I also think it's a little weird too to ask.
It is weird, and you shouldn't ask people because there can be a lot of reasons why people don't have kids. And I think it's so sad because a lot of people want kids and they can't have kids, and they are constantly asked when they can have kids.
Yeah.
Or when they will have kids. So you shouldn't ask people in general.
And I remember my other sister, she was asked, I would say she was asked not a whole lot, but the marriage didn't work out for her, and it was a good thing that it didn't, but it's just when you have kids, and I mean, divorce is always an option, at least in my opinion, but it's a lot harder when you have kids. And I mean, my brother has a kid, but they were never married, and it's still hard to separate when you have a kid. But obviously things can change, but I don't ever see us getting divorced. But I mean, it's just one of those things where something crazy can happen. I mean, one of us can change completely on how we are, how we act and react to things. I mean, Phineas Gage, I think is his name, right?
I thought you were going to say Phineas and Ferb.
No.
Who's Phineas Gage?
You're lying.
Who is that?
That's the guy who a long time ago, he was like, he was working with TNT explosives. He was like carving out a mountain or hole or something, and he put a rod, an iron rod, into the rock, and the explosive went off, and it went through his head, and like he was a different person after the injury, like completely different. You never heard of it?
Never heard of that.
Well, we did go to two very different schools. And I feel like that...
I don't think the school that I went to had a part in that.
I'm pretty sure it did.
Where did you learn that about? Like in school? In school?
In school. One of the things in
like
school.
in elementary school?
Maybe not elementary, but at least middle. Like,
well, I went to your middle school.
Well, then elementary then.
I don't remember that.
It's a big deal. Like...
Well, it must be. You remember his name.
Yeah. It's one of the craziest things that's ever happened. And he survived. He went straight through his head.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you'll have to look it up, but I think his name is Phineas Gage. But, so, I mean, not only that, actually, going back to divorce, my parents are divorced. They got divorced. It feels like it was yesterday, but because years go by so fast.
Like 6 years ago. It was when you were 18.
5 or 6, yeah, ish. I can't remember.
How long have we been together? It's been almost that long.
I graduated in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So 2017, 2018 is when they got divorced. One of the things
5 years ago.
One of the reasons why they got divorced is because
they hated him.
Well, no.
Just like
the reason why they didn't get divorced, is because they still had kids going to school. And I remember that, like, my dad telling me that, but he also didn't really, it was kind of surprising to him when my mom asked him, because it was this big old deal. But yeah, it was just, it's a good thing that they got divorced, although I do have to say that it's very different and very...
It's different circumstances than most divorces, I would say, too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like I said, I'm okay with divorce. I think things happen, people change, feelings change. You can't, yeah, I mean, do you like playing the same sport you've been playing since you were a little kid? Do you like playing the same video game? Do you like the same food? Things change, is what I'm saying.
Moral of the story, divorce is hard. In general, but it's harder with kids.
Also, that feeling like back in middle school or high school when you were dating someone and you were like, I don't really want to be in this relationship anymore, but I don't want to hurt their feelings, and I don't even want to have that conversation with them about breaking up. And I can remember crying multiple times breaking up with a
See, I can't relate because
girl.
I married my first boyfriend.
Yeah. Well, no.
Yes.
We can both agree that you did have a boyfriend before me.
Didn't.
Not officially, you would say, but you did. And you had multiple love interests.
No, I did not. Did not have multiple love interests.
Were
people interested in me? Yes.
And you were interested in them.
I was not interested in them.
And I'm not. It's hard to even have that conversation because I want to say their names.
Yeah, don't.
But anyways. Where were we?
Anyways, we do want to have kids, just not right now. Oh, we were on the topic of your sister getting asked multiple times. But there's just a ton of reasons why you should not ask people. The odds of me being infertile are actually probably pretty high. So
I mean, if you want, we could talk about the time in Leavenworth.
No.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, sometimes I do think about that as like, what if I can't have kids?
Yeah.
You know?
What if I can? It takes me a long time and we don't start trying to have kids for like a decade, and then it takes another decade to get pregnant.
Yeah, that would be rough.
But then, what if I get pregnant on the first try? Like, you just don't know until it happens. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if infertility is genetic, but my mom had a few miscarriages before she had me, which is why she had me in her late 20s. But then she had 3 kids right after that. So
When one of them is like,
which one of us are you talking about?
I would say actually the other two. Your 2 siblings. Your only 2 siblings.
What about them?
Your mom should have. Your parents should
should've
have stopped
stopped at
after
me.
me. Yeah.
I say that all the time, but I love my siblings.
I do too, but I mean, I was lost, and I'm glad that my
I could
parents.
say the
didn't-
same about
you know.
your siblings too.
Yeah, but the thing about my siblings is that if I
They were
went.
before you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Should have stopped at Steven.
really,
I'm just joking.
no. But I don't know. I just I mean, we can go back to it, but like healthcare is just absolutely insane.
Yeah. That's another thing. I would probably, well, I don't know what if my health insurance would be better when I get my own through my job.
I would hope
but
so. I guess it depends on the district and then the insurance that they have.
We will see.
But other than like kids, what else would we like look forward to? I want to travel, but not. I'm actually okay with not going to every state. I would like to go to every state.
It's on my bucket list.
And really what I would like to do is do like a road trip. I think would hit all all the states, obviously except for Alaska and Hawaii. So that would be fun, but that would be like I would say I would be okay with doing that with the kids. But that would be I don't want to drive that. Especially with the kids. Oh my god. Have like an RV or something like that.
My parents drove us, me and my siblings, to Southern California a few times. And I remember when my brother was younger, like, we had to pull over on the side of the road, like literally on the side of the freeway, for him to pee because he couldn't hold it. And I just remember him like crying, like, I have to pee really bad, really, really, really bad. And we would just have to pull over constantly. And then, like, it's hard to keep kids entertained for that long.
A little bit easier now,
period.
though. You got movies, you got TV shows.
We had movies in our van.
Yeah, but that's you had to share it.
I guess, yeah. Kids are just, like, their attention spans are so short.
One time, my mom was taking me, Mackenzie, and Eli to Silverwood with my cousin and her friends were going, and I'm pretty sure Eli and I mean, I think I did this a couple times, but I did it with my friend. I took my Xbox into like a little TV monitor thing that we had and just hooked it up, played all the way there. That would be fun. But also my parents did have an RV, and I had my GameCube in there, and we had a little TV, played games while we were on the road. And plus the RV, you can go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's true.
But I wouldn't want to drive. And somebody over here doesn't ever want to drive. So I think maybe that's a thing that we would have to do when it comes to self-driving RVs. which probably would never happen in our lifetime. Well, I mean, you never
in
know.
our kids' lifetime either, with the way the planet is set up.
Not only that, but like the roads.
That's
roads
true.
and like the infrastructure and charging and all that. But speaking of electric vehicles, I would love to have one.
If they ever come out with the Ford Bronco Sport electric version.
Oh yeah, and I mean,
mine.
it doesn't really bother me which. I mean, I need a truck, so an electric truck is probably something I would like to have, but they're way too expensive.
Way too out of our budget at this point.
I can't. I mean, I don't have a car payment at all, and I would imagine the insurance for that thing is so high, and we have to have insurance in our state. So, and I doubt my dad would want to pay for that. So, it really sucks. But any type of electric vehicle, even a Prius, I'd be fine with. I think a Tesla, although I don't like Elon Musk, I think a Tesla is cool. The self-driving capability on that is just crazy to me. But, and I saw this like hour-long video the other day about electric vehicles and how they work and the charging and the whatnot. And there obviously is some work that needs to be done. And if we were going to have an electric vehicle, we wouldn't necessarily need to change too much here. But like longer road trips just isn't really feasible unless you want to take more and more time on your trip out to charge. But it's not really that big of a deal. But obviously you need to add more charging stations, faster charging stations. In order to do that, you need to allow the grid to hold more power and produce more power, and our grid isn't capable of doing that because America is just so messed up in what they deem as important. But also, with that being said, I would like to live in a smaller town. We live in a small town right now. It's bigger than Zilla, right? But, and I wouldn't, I always wanted to go back to the town I grew up in. I'd be okay with not. I wouldn't really want to live, I don't want to live in a big city like Seattle or like a big populated area. I'm okay with driving 25, 30 minutes to go to a bigger populated area to shop and whatnot. I want more land. I have quite a bit of land here. I mean, it's not like massive or anything, but I would say it's big enough. I think this is like all you need for now. Eventually, I would like to have more, but yeah, I don't know. I've saw some houses in like different parts of the state and even other states that I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. That's a cool looking house in a cool part of the country. I've even looked at, a few years ago, we looked at a totally different country. Remember that? It was like super cheap housing.
Oh,
and this person like moved there, like were visiting, and then they just stayed there, and the coronavirus happened, so they just stayed there even longer, something like that. I would be okay with, I think I would just, it's dumb, but it's weird. I want to stay in the U.S.
I want to stay in Washington.
Even though like I said earlier, they're just, the U.S. is not what it's all cracked up to be. But I would like to see it be better, and I would like to be a part of that, or at least help it and get to that point. But I also do, like, I would be okay with, like, visiting and maybe staying, like, have a long vacation at, like, Germany or somewhere in Europe and just different places, because I think that's pretty cool. But I think smaller city, living out in the country type, some more land. I don't want my neighbor's house to be 5 feet away from mine. It just drives me nuts. My cousin's house is like that, and it's crazy to me. I want more privacy. I want the ability to, I don't know, do stuff in my backyard, not having to worry about people looking in and watching me. Your turn.
I want to stay in Washington. That's just my main goal. Also, with like my teaching license, I would have to take more exams and get certified if we move to another state, because I'm only certified in the state of Washington. So that does not sound fun at this moment. Also, majority of my family is here in Washington, so.
And speaking of your master's.
Yeah. So, if moving on to other academic hopes and dreams, I guess career goals is what we should call it. Career goals.
Yeah.
Um, I am planning on starting my master's, which, if all things work out the way that I am anticipating, I should be starting on March 1st. I'm doing an online program through Western Governors University, which is a university that a lot of teachers go through for their master's. You can get your bachelor's on there too, in other degrees and in other programs, fields. But a lot of teachers do it because it's completely online and it's extremely affordable compared to other universities. So
And you have experience with being in online school.
I do have experience being in online school because I was in the end of my first year of college in 2020 and then all through 2021. And even towards the end, I think we were in my last quarter where we were able to take off our masks in class. So, yeah, I have experience with online school and it's just what would fit my lifestyle right now would be online school. I don't think I have the capacity of traveling and then going to class to complete my master's because we would have to still be living in Ellensburg to do that.
Yeah.
Probably.
And I do not ever want to go back to Central.
There is a local university, Heritage University, that you can get your master's through, but it's extremely expensive without financial aid. Probably one of the most expensive schools in the state because it's a private university. But it's literally in the town we live in right now. But I don't see myself going there without financial aid, and I don't see myself getting enough financial aid to make it worth it. And yeah, I want to do online so that way I can still be working and not have to worry about the times that I would need to be home to go to class. So yeah, with WGU being really affordable compared to other schools, it just sounded like the way to go. So I'm going to get my master's in curriculum and instruction, and I should be starting March 1st, and I would like to complete it in 6 months. So that's going to be my goal. It's going to be really hard.
And the fact that we don't have kids.
The fact that we don't have kids right now, that
would really
now would be
benefit.
the time. Now, the fact that I currently don't have a full-time position, now is the time to complete it before I start school, which a lot of people don't recommend getting your master's before you start your career. But now is just the time. I have so much time since I graduated in December, which is an unusual time for future teachers. So I have from now until I get my full-time position to do it. And I'm going to be doing it with a couple of friends too, so I won't be alone. But it's the goal. I'm going to try to complete my master's in 6 months, which sounds crazy, but it's doable.
Yeah. And I think for me, obviously, I think I mentioned it in the episode 0 or 1, but I want YouTube and podcast to be my full-time job, as in YouTube videos ranging from vlogs to renovation videos on the house, to just challenges, stuff with my family or my friends, or just things around the house with me. I want to be like a stay-at-home husband, dad, person, because I like being home. I don't like working. I hate working. And quite honestly, I don't hate working in of itself. It's just I don't like having a boss. I don't like having a specific timeline based on what someone wants me to do. I want to be able to choose what I do and how I do it, how long it takes me to do it. And every job I've ever had so far just is always based on someone else's preference and someone else's timeline for you. And I don't like that. And I think maybe a lot of people would agree, but a lot of people wouldn't really do what I'm doing. I want to do things. And in fact, I would like to flip houses eventually. I would like to make houses something that's kind of crappy and not really livable and make it into a livable home for people. And not really to make a huge profit. Obviously, you need to make some money because of the the world we live in. But I don't want to be filthy rich off of making other people poor.
Yeah.
Like that's not what I want. That's not how I am. I want and you know what? If I eventually get pretty wealthy from YouTube and stuff, I would like to use that money to make things even more affordable for other people. Like I would like to have maybe like an apartment complex or a hotel or some sort of housing place for people and make it more affordable. Landlords suck. They're awful.
Not all landlords.
But I think
most.
I think if I ever do become a landlord, I would like to be the best landlord possible, and not rely on making people pay for every little thing, because it doesn't make sense. But there's tons of houses available. They're just too expensive, or they're just not in great repair, and people don't have the money to repair it because the house is so freaking expensive, and everything else is expensive, and they don't make enough. So that's what I would like to do from my life. I've gone through multiple phases in my when I was younger about what I want to do, and I went from making video games to being a video game tester to coding just in general, and then I went to YouTube videos, and then I've kind of stayed in that realm and try to make gaming videos, vlogs, go back to gaming videos, other types of videos. And now I'm just kind of like renovation, vlog, challenge, podcast. And I think it's obviously doable. People do it all the time, and I would like to be one of those people, but who knows? I've also thought about wanting to become like an SVU detective or some sort of detective, and just helping people is kind of what I want to do. And I think being a house flipper or a YouTuber or some sort of person who can help other people is what I want to do. And maybe none of this works out. I always have an idea of, yes, going to school to becoming a detective of some sort.
The thing that's really annoying is that Ryan is such a good student without even like putting too much effort in.
I've always got A's and B's in school, and I never really tried. I do my homework. I get home, I have a little break, and I do my homework, get it done before I really do anything else. Obviously, like English class, that was probably one of the worst ones. But in that specific class, you can kind of get away with a lot without doing it.
Yeah, he didn't struggle with procrastination.
Yeah.
Like, he just did his work when he needed to do it.
If you guys ever played Sims, one of the things I've always done when playing Sims is I just make them not have any needs. That their needs are always fulfilled 24/7.
He spends his time clicking on the toilet, clicking use.
No. I'm saying like I cheat all the time. I just rack those things up, and then I make that sim work out 24/7 until they get to an expert athlete. Then I would make them code or cook and garden.
They max all their skills.
And I would like I just max everything out. I feel like I could potentially do that.
Like when you put your mind to something, you just...
Yeah, like I could become an expert this if I really wanted to. But I think it's a lot of the needs that I can't cheat in this life.
I see what you're saying.
Like even a few days ago when I'm working out in the shop to do some stuff out there, I have to pee, and I'm like, I just keep working on this. 4 hours go by. I need to pee. And I'm like, okay, I'm done for the day then, because I don't want to come back. I'm if I go inside and I sit down, I'm done, because I want to do other things, or I don't want to take that break to and then come back out and keep doing what I'm doing. I just want to get it done. But I do, yeah. I should have. I wish I did. I wish I tried in school. I regret not doing that. I regret not paying attention in like history, math. I hate math, and it actually seems fairly simple, especially I think if for like the newer type of teaching techniques and just the things that they do. I'm always the kind of person that likes to know why of things, and that's like one of the things that has gotten me in trouble in the past, of just always wondering why this, why that, why is something like this the way it is. Like for instance, money. Why do we have money? Because someone just made it up. We don't even really need money. But that's a different conversation for another day. I'm just I wish I tried in school, and I don't want to go to college. It's way too expensive, and for what I want to do, I don't need to do it. I don't need to go to college. I have a lot of this knowledge that I can find online or books, but I don't need a paper certificate that says I know what I know, that I spent all this money for. I can do it for a lot less money and get the same amount of knowledge, or the same type of knowledge. But no, I don't know. I think I don't know if there's anything else.
I did want to say that I forgot to say. Another reason why I want to get my master's is because when you teach, there's a pay scale. It's a pay schedule. And it's like a grid. So it has like years of experience going down one column, and then across is like, let's say,
The different steps.
Yeah, different steps. So step 1 could be your first entering. You have 0 years of real full-time teaching experience, and you have your bachelor's, just your bachelor's and your license, which is what you need to be a teacher, and that will be your salary. And if you don't get any more college credits, or you don't continue your education but you continue teaching, your degree or your salary will slightly increase every year that you teach. However, on the other end of that, if you do continue your education, so let's say you have 15 college credits. It really depends on the district how many college credits you have. But if you have 15 college credits and you're in your first year, you automatically get a pay raise before you even start teaching. And the pay increase is a lot more with the more schooling that you have. So if you have your master's, you get increased quite a bit compared to just having your bachelor's. And then with every year that goes by, you also increase in pay. So getting your master's really helps make more money as a teacher, which, if you know, teachers are severely underpaid for the work that they do. So it would be nice to just get my master's in general in my teaching career, because I will get a pay raise. But to have that before I even start will be really nice, because it will help jumpstart me through every year that I teach. So I watched this video of this girl who got her master's through WGU, and she mainly got her master's for the pay raise. Not that she didn't want to learn more or like to become a better teacher, but when she initially got her master's, it was only because of her pay raise. She wanted to make more money. But she talked about how technically getting your master's and paying for it, it kind of pays itself off because of the increase, the pay raise that you get. So that's one way to think about it too.
And then you have the times where it could be worth it, but the person can't do it because of some stuff they're teaching, and they can't take the time off, or they can't afford it, or they can't do the both at the same time or something. But yeah, if you can swing it, then do it. But I don't know. I just can't.
I think schooling is not for everybody.
Yeah.
And you don't need it for every job. Obviously, like YouTube or like content creating is the type of thing where you can usually like learn it yourself. Like it's a self-taught trade, I guess. But schooling is for some people, and it is needed for jobs like teaching, because not everybody can teach. It's not babysitting.
And it's not the same thing that you and your siblings did when you were younger.
It's not. Teaching
in your living room. It is.
Teaching is different than what you were taught to think it is. So like, if you are not a teacher and you don't know a teacher, everything you know about teaching right now
is probably wrong.
It's probably all wrong. Teaching is way different. There's a lot of things that teachers do that they shouldn't have to do, but also like there's a lot of things that aren't teaching. Some could say that the majority of a teacher's day isn't teaching. It's raising kids to be humans, good humans, nursing if kids hurt, sick. What else? There's a lot of like emotional like counseling that teachers do, because kids, just like adults, have trauma and they are going through things. So like teaching, yeah, it's not for everybody. So schooling is a good thing. However, it shouldn't be as expensive as it is, though. That's the problem with university
and all the
college.
little type of like fees and
yes.
I mean, it was insane. I knew it was insane before, but having her go through college and seeing the invoice, like just the itemized list of all the charges, just insane.
For online school during COVID, when the only option was online school, is insane. Charging recreation center fees when the recreation center wasn't open during COVID, insane. Those are the types of fees that you're like.
And I would also say, I mean, like the fee for like the central transit system, I think that's great. It wasn't that expensive.
Yes.
And everyone can use it regardless of your status. But
that's
it
what I'm
was
saying.
just
There's
kind of
good
weird
things and there's bad things.
that they had like a whole new fleet of vehicles around the time of like when people were getting laid off and like COVID started to come up.
Yeah, tell me why they got Tesla cop cars.
Yeah.
I didn't even see them patrolling either. I saw them still rolling out those Ford Explorers or whatever they're freaking called.
And I don't know. I think it's just like I said earlier, I'm a why kind of guy. So their whole system of laying these people off, even though they're making bank on tuition, their numbers may be down, but why can't the
numbers were down?
Why are custodians being laid off when they're the ones that need to clean the buildings that are still being used?
And the numbers were down everywhere.
And then not only that, but these like higher ups are getting paid massively compared to custodians, and we're working our butts off. And it's just they're not getting laid off. They're not even getting a pay cut. We're getting laid off. Even some of us got hours were cut a bit. It was just insane of just the amount of fees and things that you as a student would have to pay for and either receive or not even receive. The amount of, oh, you need this book for this class, we're going to automatically charge you, but we're going to tell you need it before telling you that we're going to pay, like we're going to make you pay for it.
So then you buy the book on your own, not knowing that they charged you for it. And then you're like, wait, why was I charged for this? I bought this myself. And they're like, too late.
Yeah. And it's just so stupid.
Yeah.
Housing there, oh my God.
College is really expensive if you don't have financial aid. And some people who need financial aid can't get financial aid because of the tax bracket that their parents are in. But not everyone's parents are paying for their college.
And not everyone's parents have that money in their bank account to use for college.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, but if you're a sports person and you're going to go to college and you're going to get a free ride because you're doing sports, that's great. I'm proud that you, and I'm happy for you that you can go to college for free. But at just the fact that you can be a football player is kind of weird to me. You want to play sports and maybe even like damage your brain or yourself and get hurt, and they'll pay for your college. But a person who wants to become a teacher or a freaking scientist or some sort of person that actually will do something that will benefit a lot of people is just crazy to me.
Yeah, I think that we can continue with sports scholarships, sports full ride scholarships, but we should also be giving full rides to students who are succeeding academically, or even students who like may not be succeeding academically, but they have an interest in a career that requires college. And you can be like, look, we'll pay for it as long as you put in the work and you can get the degree. Forget about what grades you have thus far. Forget about your track record now. Like if we see potential in this student, we think that they're going to put in the work, let's pay for it. Like, I know that they do give full rides for some students academically, but it's usually the kids who are already super rich. Like, they have been able to afford tutors their entire life. They have 4.0s. They don't need the full ride.
And their parents probably genetically modified their baby. I'm just kidding. That was a little too far, but
like, yeah, income-based scholarships are like good, but I just feel like there's not enough of them. And then also the like requirements to meet it are so like,
and if we have
specific
scholarships and grants and stuff, where's that money coming from, and why can't we just throw it into like a freaking massive pool already? Like,
yeah,
why
is it like a discount code? Like, it's
yeah,
like,
why can't they just use it to just automatically make the price drop? Because these, I don't know. There's several different things that they could do to fix this college price. But
so if we ever become wealthy, maybe we'll open a scholarship foundation.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of things I would love to do if, and hopefully when I become really wealthy. And just real quick on that note, when you get your teaching job, whether that even be like bare minimum, I believe that it will be more money than we have ever seen.
Oh yeah, it will
since we started working.
It will be.
Because I don't know how we made it.
I touched on this. We were pretty good with our money compared to our peers.
But I just can't. Even now, right this second, I don't know how we're doing it. I mean, a lot of the money is just coming from what we've
savings,
had.
Yeah.
But how are we not like broke right this second? It's just crazy to me. Yeah.
I mean, we will be making more money, but we'll also be spending more money when I get my job, because we will take on my car insurance. I don't have a car payment either.
And then probably a car payment.
But probably a car payment. My phone. Like, luckily, my parents have taken care of all of those things while I've been in college. But I've told myself.
And I would say if we, right when you graduated high school, if you got on to spending and paying for your own stuff that way, like a lot of people do, and you did that ever since then, I would say we wouldn't be in the same position.
No.
Because even for me,
I would have to be working 40 hours a week. And
my dad pays for my car insurance only because I sometimes go and clean his place.
So, yeah. So we will be making a lot more money, even as a first-year teacher. but we will also be spending more money. But I still think even with all of the things that we will be paying for that we'll be taking back from our parents or my parents, I still think that we'll have more money left over than we've seen.
Yeah, and it just, and obviously I'm sitting here saying like, how are we doing it? And you know, because a lot of people can't, and I obviously know why, but it's just crazy to me. Just all those years of me being so cheap and not wanting to spend money on anything. I just had the very bare necessities. That was it. In high school, I didn't want to have a job, so I didn't. But my parents, I mean, my family was going like down the drain with money. It was just, we were not very wealthy at all. Later in my school years, but I managed. I worked and I worked it all out, and and now I'm here. Obviously, we have special case or whatever with the house, and
we have privileges, but we do have to give ourselves some credit for it.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just crazy. But we have gone for almost an hour now, longer than I thought we would. I don't think there's really anything else to mention about our future, wants and needs, or what we want and what to expect or anything like that. I don't know. This life is crazy, and I think it's special, and I'm excited to see what's going to come next, and I hope it's everything that we want. Obviously, there are times where things just change without without us wanting them to or whatever. I don't know what the term is, but yeah, hopefully we don't get sued or anything, because that would be a big kick in the you-know-whats. But I think that will be it for today's podcast episode. I always hate ending these things because I don't know how to end it, because I can't say the same thing as I do in my YouTube videos. But yeah, just thank you so much for either watching or listening. When we recorded the first quote unquote 2 episodes, I didn't know where you can find our podcast.
But we know now. But
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, we're all there if you want. Same Welcome Home podcast. You can probably find it. And yeah, we'll see you. Thank you so much for coming in, sitting with us, and having this conversation. We'll see you next week. Oh, forgot to mention real quick, I do have a 2023 video schedule. So hopefully every Sunday at 7 a.m. a podcast episode will come out for you to listen to on your wherever you get your podcast from. So yeah, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.